Hi guys, I hope you're all having a wonderful day. In today's video, I am doing another Draw This Again. It will be the last Draw This Again I do for a little while because I don't want to overwhelm you with Draw This Again videos. But I just had to redraw this old piece because I was scrolling through all my old videos just trying to see what I could redraw, and I stumbled across this, and at the time it was definitely one of my favourite drawings I'd done. It took me a very long time. It took me like 5 hours to paint, and I was very, very proud of it, and I thought it was a very good painting. And now I look at it and I don't hate it, but I don't think it's quite so good anymore. Like I really liked the concept behind it, and I really liked the posing, but I really thought, you know what, this is going to be so much fun to redraw, especially because it is one of my original characters. And I always do drawing your OCs videos, but I hardly ever talk about or draw my own characters on this channel. So hardly anyone that's subscribed to me will even know who Ember even is. So I thought it would be interesting for you guys to see basically me recreate this, and also me actually talk about this character for anyone who doesn't know about her already. So the original painting was from 2.5 years ago. It was from January of 2016, and like I said, I was very, very proud of it. It took me 5 hours at the time, and it is quite ambitious for me to recreate in a way, because there are essentially, when you add up every single character in the piece, even though 3 of them are the same person, there are 4 people and there's 3 backgrounds, and I was fully colouring and painting it as well. So I underestimated how much time this would take me, which is exactly why this video wasn't out on Friday and is instead out on Monday. It is all because this whole painting process probably took me around 16 hours, so about 2.5 days worth of work, just working on it each day. And I wasn't expecting it to take half that long, but I'm glad that I took the time to actually paint it and actually make sure I got each aspect how I wanted it. Even though there are still tiny bits I would change and some bits aren't perfect, I'm very, very happy with the new piece. Especially because I feel like I've finally captured my character as I've always wanted her to look. Because I've always had this concept of Ember in my head, like this idea of her, but I've never quite been able to draw her and capture her exactly the way I wanted to. Until now, that is. So I'm very, very happy with how this newer piece has come out. Basically, the whole concept, the whole premise behind the original painting was, it actually came from a suggestion, a comment suggestion. Someone said, you should draw an OC timeline of one of your characters, so a character timeline where you draw the character at different stages of their life. And I thought that was such a cool idea for a video, and a very cool idea for a drawing, especially for a character like Ember, who has had quite a privileged upbringing, being a princess as well. So in the first painting, you'll notice I drew her being held by her mother, who is Queen Valinna of the Kingdom of Empkel. So Ember is part of the royal family. She is a princess, and she was also born with fire powers as well. I'll talk more about that later, but that is partly why I called her Ember. In her original design, she had bright red hair, and I ended up redesigning her last year to have more of like a natural shade of ginger, because I didn't quite want the red hair anymore. As much as I really like the red hair, I don't know, I thought it was too intense. I wanted to just tone it back a little bit. And also, as she gets older, you'll see as the video goes on, when I draw teenage Ember, I give her like sort of an ombre, a very subtle ombre, so the ends of her hair are more of like a brassy blonde and the top is more of a ginger, and that way I feel like it evokes more of the visual aspect of flames rather than just being a bright red. So I'm very happy with the way I've redesigned her. I'm probably going to do a video rather soon about making your own characters, and because a lot of people, when I do my Drawing Your OCs series, they're like, I would love to enter the Drawing Your OCs series, but I feel like my character isn't good enough, or I haven't even got my own character, and I don't even know where to start on creating them. So I probably will do a video sharing everything I've learned about creating characters and stuff like that, so that I can probably help you guys as well, because when I created my character, I think I created Ember when I was about 12, and I'm 19 now, so I've been drawing Ember for, oh my gosh, that moment when I literally can't do basic maths. How did I forget how to do 19 minus 12? Sorry, it's 7 years. 7 years I've been drawing Ember. That was so embarrassingly bad, and I got a B at maths GCSE, so I don't know how that happened. But anyway, 7 years. 7 years I've been drawing Ember, and she's gone through many redesigns, many changes. When I was 12, she was like your kind of classic Mary Sue character, like, oh, she has no flaws, she's perfect in every way, she's got bright red hair and fire powers just because, and stuff like that. But as time went on, I redesigned different aspects of her to make more sense and be less perfect, because also that's very important when you're designing a character. You need to think about their flaws, because everybody's flawed, everybody has their flaws, everybody has their insecurities, and what makes a good character is a character who has depth, who isn't just all surface level, everything's great, things like that. And my great art friend Canary Witch, she is an incredible artist and a brilliant character designer. I absolutely love all of her OCs because they're all amazing, and one of the biggest pieces of advice that she gave me, which was also really helpful, well, she didn't give it specifically to me, she said it on a stream, but she said, you need to like get to know your character. As weird as it sounds, you need to get to know your character. Imagine you were sat there interviewing them. How would they feel about different things that you were asking them? How would they answer the questions? Even down to the basic aspects of body language. If you were interviewing your character, how would they sit in a chair? You need to think about stuff like that. So I never used to think about that. I was just like, I want to draw this pretty princess girl with red hair and fire powers. And you know what? If you want to have a character that has no depth, go for it. Like, if that's what you want to do, that's completely fine. Because at the end of the day, I can give you as much advice as I want about creating characters, and you should do this and don't do this and follow these rules. But there are no rules when it comes to creating a character. Like, at the end of the day, they're your character, they're your design, and you can make them however the way you want them to be. And you shouldn't ever let anyone make you want to change them in any way. So anyway, that's my little rant about characters over. Back onto this piece. So it's basically, I wanted to, this time around, give the whole painting much more of a magical feel. I wanted you to look at it and kind of understand the story that was being told as well. I really used to love the way I drew Ember with her mother in the old piece, so I wanted to recreate the like warm feeling that there was in that old one in this new one as well. So I really did try and do that, and I had a lot of trouble with child Ember's hands because they just didn't look right. It's the only part of the piece that I really hate because I just couldn't get them right. I probably will go back in and repaint them later, but I just wanted to say I'm very aware that the hands don't look right before I get a million comments saying, oh, the hands in the middle one look off. I am very much aware, and I probably will go back in and repaint them. It's just they were really difficult to do, and you have to understand I was sat here for like 16 hours painting this piece, just trying to get every bit right, and it was very draining, and it did take a lot out of me. There were so many points as well where I wanted to give up. Like, I was like, I don't think I can keep going with this painting anymore. Like, it's really taking a lot out of me, but I'm really glad I kept to it, and I'm very happy with the final result because, like I said, I feel like I finally captured Ember the way I wanted her to look. So in her redesign, she uses a lot more muted colours now, and it's all much more of a cohesive design, I would say. Her old colours of her dress used to be so oversaturated. In fact, the whole old painting that I'm redrawing used to be very oversaturated, and every single time I drew Ember or her mum, they looked like they'd gotten a fake tan or something, because I used to oversaturate everything, including the skin. They're actually meant to be very pale, so I didn't want them to have that kind of fake tan look to them anymore. So that's why I kind of took away from that. And like I said, when I redesigned Ember's character, I made her whole dress and everything much more muted, and everything to be a very warm colour palette, because I want her to have a very cohesive colour palette. It all fits together so that the blue of her necklace and the blue on her headpiece pop out to you more because they're the only bit of saturated colour in her design, other than her eyes as well. Her green eyes are also a very important aspect. So this time around I did that. I also, when I was talking about redesigning her in my live stream, I did mention about how I looked at a lot of medieval clothes for inspiration, because when I made her old character design, I looked at no clothing references at all. I think that's one of the main ways I went wrong with her old design. So this time around I looked at medieval clothes and kind of took inspiration from that. I also looked at elven clothes as well. You'll also notice that this time around when I drew her fire powers, I completely changed how they looked. I wanted them to look way more kind of fluid and like they were really curving around her. I wanted her to look like she had absolute full control over them, and it was something that kind of just glides seamlessly through the air around her, this fire kind of like looping in around her, rather than like this weird little thing of flames that I drew in the old painting. Like, it looks so bad, I hate it. But for the castle is the only bit I did photo bashing on. Basically, photo bashing is where you get a photo, you paint over it, and you use that for your digital art. I don't normally do that. That's something they taught us how to do at university, but because I thought, well, because the castle is something so small in the background and I wanted it done quickly and I'd already spent so long on the painting, I did a bit of photo bashing, so I painted over the photo to put the castle into the background. So that's the one bit I probably might go back in and paint over again, so it looks more like a painting rather than a little castle that's just been pasted in. But like I said, it was just something I needed to put into the background for the time being as like a placeholder. You also notice that when I do hair now, I like to add a luminosity layer with this like little textured brush to add strands of hair throughout, and I like how that looks so much more than the old way I used to do hair. I probably will do an updated hair tutorial maybe next week. If that's something you would like to see, then definitely let me know, because I'd love to do a hair tutorial, because the way I do hair is completely different now. So probably within the next week I will do a tutorial on that. Anyway, we're coming towards the end of the video. It's a very long video because I didn't want to speed it up too much because there was a lot of painting going on in this. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't worry, this is the last Draw This Again for a little while. That's unless you want another Draw This Again. But I will see you again in my next video. Bye guys, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day. Bye!